Hey, welcome everyone. My name is Manoj Kumar. I'm working as a lead cloud SME for data engineering, data science, and generative AI. In this video, we'll be discussing about how to create a streaming data pipeline in Databricks using Auto Loader that is going to ingest the raw data and transform it through Lakehouse Medallion architecture. So ultimately, we have a requirement of loading customer messages table to enable downstream reporting and analysis. You may can see that over here we have there are multiple tasks over here in the workflow which I have created. There is a task called ingestion customer, ingestion messages, silver, and gold. Let's understand each of it. Where I can see here my ingestion underscore customer. This particular task is dedicated for ingesting data into my branch layer, into my branch schema, into my customer table. Same goes for messages. It is going to load into the same branch schema under the messages table underlying to it. Now, once these data are loaded with respect to their streaming files, we are going to join them. We're going to transform using join statement. And finally, we're going to load that join data under the silver schema. Once the join data been loaded in silver schema, we are started planning and moving the data into the golden layer or in the golden schema into the customer messages respective table as a final table load by aggregating the data over there. Well, that's end-to-end flow. We also have used my schedule and trigger where I have set up a trigger to run it every 1 minute of time as a scheduled process. I'm using all-purpose compute as this is a training recording. As a result, this all-purpose compute is more than enough. But in case if it is a production requirement, definitely I can go for my job type of cluster rather than all-purpose cluster. All right. Having said that, let's take a move and let's discuss about further on the notebook to understand each of the tasks, how it is being underlined and powered by your notebooks. So here is the first notebook, what we see, guys, which is about your customers table lying under the bronze schema. Now, here where in the first section, what you see it is nothing but you are setting the base path for input file. So the purpose of this is to define the base path for reading input file from Databricks file system DBFS, which means I'm storing my files under Databricks file system itself. Well, I can use any cloud services as well, but as of now, while I'm recording, I intended and thought of taking a DBFS itself. Well, taking a move and moving on to the next piece of code where I can see that my reading streaming data from CSV file had been intended. The purpose of this piece of code is to stream data from CSV file located into the specified input file location. Well, the crux of it, what we can see it over here, we are using cloud files, which means Databricks is going to use autoloader to efficiently handle schema, inference, file detection, and processing in streaming context. That's what we have provisioned in this code. With this, take a move, and we can see that we are adding an additional packages over here, and these packages are basically being added for the purpose of importing a lot of functions which are going to be used further on. Now, when we take a move here and move to the next piece of code under the customer's notebook, I can see that this stage is all about adding an ingestion timestamp and an additional column. And the purpose of this ingestion data column is to add current timestamp in each row in the data frame. Now we come to a stage where we have written SQL statement, and this SQL statement is helping us creating the bronze schema. And the core purpose of is to create schema named bronze if it does not already exist. So bronze schema is typically used to store raw data, unprocessed data as part of the multi-layer data architecture of Medallion. All right. Now moving into the next piece of code, what you see it over here overall, we are going and writing data to the branch.customer table. And the whole sole purpose of this piece of snippet is to write the processed data frame to the branch.customer table with checkpointing. So this line of code, which is very, very important over here, because we are setting up checkpointing so that any point of time my metadata is going to be written over here, and it helps us to do a recovery. Well, when we are using structure streaming to perform a batch style write operation with trigger once is equal to true, ensuring that data is only processed once per execution. With this, let me take a move to the messages notebook, where I can see most of the operation what we have did it with the customer notebook. We also have did it for messages notebook. So we have set the path. We have started reading streaming data using Auto Loader. We have imported library. Finally, we are adding a current timestamp as an additional column there. And then finally, we are writing my data frame data df message underscore final to my branch table messages, where also we have set up a checkpoint location where the where the metadata of the write is going to be stored. All right, so that's about the notebook of messages. Now, when we look into the silver notebook, the first thing what you see it over here is we are creating a silver schema by using create schema if not exists silver. Then the next piece of code is all about transforming a data by joining it. So the idea here is to create or replace the silver.customer message table by joining the bronze.customers and bronze.messages table on the basis of customer ID. So whole total purpose is to combine and refine data from the bronze layer and storing into the silver layer for further processing or analysis. So this is the snippet about the silver layer what we have under this silver notebook. Now moving on to the gold notebook, what we see it again, we are creating a schema if not exist as a gold. Finally, the final piece of code over here talks about creating or replacing the gold.customer underscore count table by aggregating the count of messages for each customer ID from the silver.customer underscore message table. The context over here for this snippet of the code is to load gold schema used for fully processed aggregated data optimized for reporting and analysis. So overall, we see that in this case study or in this demonstration, we have established the base path. We have used Auto Loader to stream data from CSV file. We have added an ingestion timestamp to track data ingestion time. We have used create schema for bronze, silver, gold for organizing data as the various processing stage as per the Medallion architecture. We also have wrote data or save raw data to the bronze table with the fault tolerance. We also have join and create a silver table by combining and refining data from bronze table to create a silver table. Not only that, we also have launched and aggregated and created a gold table where aggregate data into the silver table to be produced to the final gold table for analysis. So this particular structure, what you see it over here as a workflow with 4 different tasks, approaches and ensures a robust pipeline for data ingestion, processing, and analysis in the layered architecture, enhancing data organization, traceability, and usability overall. With this, guys, I would like to take a pause and would like to say that it was a great looking into it. But one additional point I would like to highlight here, the type of data we are getting loaded over here with live demonstration of putting an additional file, streaming it right away by executing this workflow. So now let's have a look here in the Catalog Explorer. We have customers table, and I would like to show you the sample data here. We have data loaded from 2 of its file, goes to the messages respectively. We have load of 2 of the file done. Then here is my silver table, which has already been loaded, the joint data from these 2 tables. Also, we have golden schema, which has already been finalized and loaded the aggregated data from silver to gold. All right. Now, what we are going to do is I'm just going to put across the third and the final file of customer. So let me pick customer3.csv and load it over here. Also, we have messages 3.csv. So let me pick that file as well. And I'll be having this file process live over here. Now going to the tab where we have the workflow been shown, let me trigger out by clicking on run now. Well, we do have schedule trigger bin already set up, so it can run on every 1 minute. But as of now, I'm just going to click on run now. And let's have a look to this entire execution, what we have as of now. We'll be waiting for some time. And here is my queued execution, which is happening because there's underlying already a process which might be happening. So let's not worry, wait for a few minutes or a few seconds, probably once the previous task will be finished, because we have already set up to have the execution to be happened on every 1 minute. So maybe other task has already been taken over and it is already going through. So once this particular execution, which I did it manually, will be took over, we'll be having the execution shown here. We'll be waiting for another few seconds to get through it, or else we can get into jobs. We can get here and we can see that how many different jobs are running and where is my execution job. So here is the job which got completed. Here is the job which is running. And you can see that there are multiple jobs which are queued. So here is my job. Here is my activity, which is manually been triggered. So it will be initiated. Here is the queued one. These all has to be finished. Then only this one will be executed. Or else I can go and I can cancel this all and I can make my manual one to be executed. So let me do that. Cancel run. I'm going to do a cancel of the previous queuing so that my final, which is manual, will be triggered over here. So let this be running. I have already canceled and you can see that with the red color it is showing up. Well, here where it is going on and loading data, you can see that this green symbol which represents the ingestion customer got loaded, completed successfully. Ingestion message got loaded, completed successfully. Silver got loaded, completed successfully. And finally, golden got also loaded and completed successfully. With this, I would like to take you back over here to the customer table under your bronze schema. Let me refresh this. Let me refresh it, and you can see that 60 records have been loaded. We have sample data, 60 record got loaded from messaging as well. We're going into the silver schema, silver table, looking into the sample, and I can see that all 60 has been joined together. Then finally going on to the gold schema to my customer underscore count table. All right. So here where we can see the count of all the final data which got loaded, and you can see that all 60 records got loaded over here with respect to the customer ID, With this, guys, we have completed the entire discussion of the workflow, your notebook, which are essential and important part of your entire activity of creating data stream pipeline in Databricks using Auto Loader with using Lakehouse Medallion architecture. So thank you very much for coming up, looking into my session.